words that are my favorite words in the English dictionary. One of them is succulent. That word is related to tender, juicy, tasty. And after those words, you feel mouth-watering as you realize the breakfast you had this morning. The second word is extemporaneous. You see, I'm not that precise kind of guy, clear cut to the point. So when I found the word extemporaneous, I had an excuse for my impromptu and somewhat lackadaisical attitude. I usually refer to myself as the spur of the moment kind of guy. Good morning. My name is James Townsend. I stand here today as a victim of torture. Yes. I may not look tortured, hurting, resentful, and scared. I'm not that person anymore. But I still carry the resemblances, the scars, and the flashes. Thanks to the CVT and people like you, that change is possible. You prove that there are more good people in the world than bad. I'm from Liberia, a country torn to pieces by itself, spiced up by greedy politicians who use disunity and war to sharpen their appetite for power. This is relevant all over the world today. Women and children suffer the most. As a school-going child at the time, I was no exception. My story, and you may have heard a lot more stories, was no exception. My story is not different from all the other stories that you've heard. Kids in Egypt, in Syria, Iraq, Sudan, Pakistan, Somalia, Cambodia, Afghanistan, and many other places. The kids are starved, on shelter, on clothes, beaten, whipped, and killed. Of course, those who did not die, like me and many more who were fortunate to cross over here, are able to tell the story after receiving counseling here at the CVT. But we live every day of our lives with flashes or reminiscences of our various ordeals. Before I was introduced to the Center by the wonderful people at the Advocates for Human Rights, my experiences of torture were locked up in a dark closet in my mind. I had refused to open that door for fear that people would judge me by my ordeal. If someone were to look hard at me, I would shrink, thinking that perhaps they are reading my life. I was afraid most of the time. I had sleepless nights, nightmare, anxiety, increased palpitation of my heart, and fatigue. During my counseling at the CVT, I was admonished that it was okay to talk about my experiences. As a matter of fact, I learned to face the fear and not run away from it. Those who mete out this torture intend for the victim to live a fearful life, because when you are tortured, you relive the torture each day. That's why most victims pray to God that they were dead instead of alive. It is a very difficult life to live when you are a victim of torture. The good news is, when you go to counseling, you have healing. Despite the lingering memories, counseling helps minimize the hurt, and at the same time, it helps us understand what length people can go to when given overwhelming power, which provides the courage to open the dark closet of our lives. I am a victim of torture. And I can say that resoundingly, not that I'm proud to be, but because I am glad that people like you can sit in this room and listen to me. Because I receive healing when I repeat those words. I'm no longer afraid to live or shrink when you look into my eyes. Because I understand now how to deal with my situation. Thanks to the CVT and people like you who have helped me become who I am today. I'm a student at the Grand Canyon University pursuing a master's degree in public administration with an emphasis in government and policy. I think one of the reasons why we have the problems in our country, like here, is, which led to the Civil War, was the lack of order and discipline. Upon my entry into the United States, and as I flew over the country, I saw checkerboard streets, black pavements running between many houses, which seemed to be built in an orderly manner. It was in February of that year, and the dark pavements seemed to be bordered by a white substance, which also covered the structures. Well, except for reading about it and seeing the pictures, I had never seen snow before. Well, the orderly constructions signify that this was a land of order, far different from the land of chaos I had known all my life. The purity of the snow, as I had seen it from above, was significantly calm and cleansing I needed in my life. I'm very grateful to you for your kind support you have given me through the last 4 years. You will say, but I did not do anything to help you. Well, that is not true. While it's true that you do not know me, when you give your time to volunteerism, you help me. When you came to work, even if you were being paid, you help me. And when you give your donation, it was used to help me become who I am today. There are many more James Townsend out there in Egypt, in Syria, in Iraq, Pakistan, Somalia, Cambodia, Afghanistan, and many places in the world who are going through torture, even as we are gathered in this room this morning. Your continued contribution through volunteerism, the services you render, the donations you make by foregoing other necessary aspects of your life will help resuscitate the lives of many women and children and help them regain a place in the world of dignified people like yourselves.